This video contains a 30-minute video of what can I do with Saso from Slovenia, an 8-minute video of the new structure with Filip from Bulgaria, and a 6-minute video of a couple FAQ answers with Shawn. This is going to be a short introductory video of basically what does a person do when they come to the Venus Project, or what do current people do in the Venus Project, or what we recommend that they do. Is that correct?
Yeah. Hi everybody, my name is Saso Luznar. I'm the point of contact for Slovenia. Yeah, we came up with the idea for this show basically because we have a lot of people out there in different social groups or emails or wherever asking us basically what can I do, or I want to help, I don't know, what can I do with my expertise, or maybe I have no expertise. And so this is kind of for all those people that just wonder, what can I do?
Gotcha. Yeah, it's necessary. For me, it's like, wow, there's so much to do. It's just overwhelming. Not enough time to get everything done. So it's hard to comprehend that, but people do need to know the basics, and especially those of us who've been around for a while, we might know a quicker path towards something, or a more efficient way of going about things. For me personally, reading the book is one of the more important foundational things, the best that money can't buy, and then moving forward through and progressing through more information. But that we can get into that a little bit later if you want. But that's kind of the point. Is got a lot of people coming in, and they're kind of like, oh, and
yeah. There's seemingly, well, I guess there's two extremes. It seems like a lot of stuff is going on, and on the other hand, some people think that there's nothing going on. So basically, what we want to do is we want to channel both of those two groups, and I would like to kind of break it down into what we can do online with online activism, or whatever we want to call it, and what we can do offline. So in real life, how can we try and get these ideas out in our environment with our friends and everything. So that's where I'd like to start. Basically, I like to say up front, I'm not gonna go, or we're not gonna go into organizational roles, who does what and what. This is basic. This is very basic. Just what can you do? What can that person that's watching this seminar, what can you do? And basically, to start there, I'm gonna just go on from where Shawn stopped. Basically, education is one of the foundational things that we all can do, because even Shawn and me, everybody around here still wants to improve. So we want to learn more. We want to learn ways how to talk to people. We want to learn ways how to explain some things to people and things like that. So it's an ongoing process. Shawn has been at it for a while, so maybe Shawn, a couple of words.
The default answer, I think, the default answer to what should I do, or what should we do, or what should you do, of anybody, education of yourself, and then once you're at a certain level of understanding and you're capable of explaining these concepts or ideas to others, then educating others. So the default, online or offline, both of them are education. And it's translated into just about everything we're probably about to speak of. Education is included in every single one of them. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that education should be present at all times.
So let's get specific about it, because I think we talk generally education, and somebody's like, yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I want to get into some of the first offline things that you can do at home. So basically, one of the very most important things is basically leading by example, meaning that you try and show the values that you support also in your real life. I've written down a couple of points so that I don't forget any of them. One of them is buying stuff that you need and not those that you want, which is kind of what most of the people out there are doing. They see something on the television and they want it, even though they don't really need it. So that's kind of the first step is to kind of realize that and try and always ask yourself, is this really what I need? Do I need this car? Do I need this, big TV, even bigger than 25 inches? I need 35, 45, 55, whatever. And things like that. Those are pretty basic, and you're probably going to see some friends asking you, what's going on? Why aren't you, buying into the whole let's get new stuff, new stuff, new stuff? And you're going to open up the conversation just by leading with your example. Kind of same goes for the cars. We usually have, two big cars. They're like SUVs and whatnot, even though we don't need them. They're guzzling a lot of gas, and they're super expensive to maintain and whatnot. So that's kind of that's from the material point of view. That's I would say one hand, but on the other hand also try and surround yourself with watching documentaries, watching interesting lectures, talk about new discoveries, new scientific stuff, because a lot of people, most people don't really see that, don't really talk about that, and that's going to be something fresh, for them, and they're also going to be wondering, what's up with this guy? He's suddenly trying to familiarize himself with all these new stuff, and they're going to get interested. So that's probably, I would say, the easiest things to start with, but they're also pretty hard, right, Shawn?
Yeah, I have a personal example, but I was actually, it was hard, but it was rewarding also, and I had to do with the things you own end up owning you. And before I came to the Venus Project 2 years ago, I had a lot of stuff, and it was a pain in the butt to move around, and I like to move around. I like the freedom. So I took this thing. It's called the 100 Thing Challenge, and the challenge is to reduce everything that you own in your entire life to below the number 100. And you would not believe how hard that actually is. But the positive thing out of it, though, I was able to fit everything in my car, actually in the trunk of my car, and I was able to move anywhere I wanted to. I was the most free I've been in probably my entire adult life. So the concept of the things you own end up owning you, I can personally attest that is true. And then talking about a resource-based economy where you probably own less than 100 things, if not less than 10 things actually, that might have even a higher degree of freedom associated with it. So it's what Saso was talking about, to be the change you want to be in the world, and you don't have to be extreme. We do have to exist, but attempt to be the change you want to be. You might want to say it that way. I don't know. But it was a really cool experience for me, so I can personally attest that with less ownership of things does come more overall freedom.
Yeah, well, I do want to own my own toothbrush, just so you know.
Right.
Yeah, I also had a personal experience like that when you were, and probably a lot of you out there have already had that experience as well. If you went out traveling for, a longer period of time, maybe 3 weeks or a month or even longer, 3 months, there's just so much stuff that you can take with you if you're going, traveling with a car or whatnot, just like Shawn said, and then you realize that, you're very free, and yet you don't have a lot of stuff with you. You need maybe 5 shirts, a couple of shorts, and and things like that if you're in warm weather, and that's it. So it takes a while to get to that realization, but it's definitely doable. So yeah, that challenge sounds very interesting, Shawn.
So you're talking about what a person does, what we would recommend somebody to do in the offline life. This, what we're doing here is online, on the internet, this type of thing. But offline, in the real world, so to speak, one of them would be like to, attempt, like you said, don't attempt to not buy the things you think you want. Only purchase things you need, and do other things maybe with the other money. Just be more
Yeah.
smart about it. Don't be convinced to buy something that you might not necessarily need.
Yeah, yeah. Another personal experience of mine is that, with cutting down on expenses, on, cutting myself off from television. I mean, as far as television shows and television program and everything, it gives you more freedom. And for me, it gave me the possibility to work less. So I try and work half time only, because I have lower costs of my living, and then I can spend more time learning other stuff, doing things like we're doing right now, and all sorts of other projects, which is going to fulfill you more than, just having a lot of money and a lot of stuff.
That touches on the communal living a little bit, and got to say, first and foremost, the Venus Project does not push or endorse community living. Like, we're not saying as the Venus Project, go build a community. But I personally, in your personal life, if you can find methods to reduce the amount of bills you have to pay, your cost of living, which in some cases will include living with others, to reduce your overall costs, and instead of working 40 hours, you can work 20 hours a week to sustain yourself, which allows you to have more overall freedom, more time to do volunteer work, more time to do personal education, these types of things. So officially, the Venus Project might not say that, but on a personal level, it might be useful to you to find any method you can to reduce your expenses, which will then reduce your necessity to be working those full-time jobs.
Yeah, and dependency also.
Dependency, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think. Well, I guess as far as the offline goes, I think we've covered most of the stuff that you can immediately do. I think that everything more than that requires, at least if we want to say more than that, as an activist or as a supporter of the Venus Project, you'll probably need some more education. Get more familiar with the things that we're talking about. So I want to move to the online stuff that we can do, and basically what is now very popular is social networks, where I'm going to spend some time discussing it. And basically what it means is just getting the word out there. We've all got, friends, our friends have friends and things like that. Everybody knows the I guess the influence or the power of networking. So I think that that's something that, again, we can all do. Even if you don't have any knowledge of the Venus Project, where you can go out and talk to people, or you can hold lectures and whatnot, you can still share the status updates. You can still share these good ideas. You can still share the scientific discoveries, new inventions and things like that. And it will get, people, it will get people talking about it, which is what we ultimately want. I would like to touch up on another thing that I've already mentioned before for the offline thing is, don't hesitate, or don't be afraid, or don't be um, don't be afraid of saying that you don't know something. But it's basically what I want to do. So
Yeah,
always,
most cultures indoctrinate you to be embarrassed if you don't know something, and
yeah,
the idea that we're talking about is don't be embarrassed by it, because if you aren't open to the idea that you don't know something, then you also won't be open to the idea of actually studying it and then knowing it. Uh,
yeah,
so there's a benefit to not knowing something, because then it gives you the tools or the motivation to then go and study it and know it.
yeah. And with the online, you have the advantage that basically we never had before the internet, because what you can do is you can go to the Venus Project webpage, you can go to frequently asked questions, and you can find answer to any question basically that was ever posed to any supporter of the Venus Project. So if you don't have that answer, you can basically just copy paste it from the FAQ, or or from somewhere on the web page, which is which has a tremendous amount of information. You know, if we compare it to other web pages out there, it has so much information. It's just it's overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, to touch on what you're talking about with the social networking and using these are all free methods of marketing in a sense. Getting not marketing in the negative sense, but marketing as far as pushing information outward. And a lot of our community doesn't seem that they are using their networks for many reasons. It's likely that they're not 100% sure of passing the information, or they might be fearful of how they might be viewed in their social networks to be passing these types of concepts and ideas. But if it is not passed, and if it is not spread out, and if we don't have more things becoming viral, then we're going to continue to be slow in the progress. Like, we need the community, we need the people to be using their networks, their emails, their Facebook friends to share these things, share the videos, share the newsletters, promote the website, these types of things. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna post in the description, all the relevant links out there that we have to all the different information, or all the different sorts of information also, which Shawn was talking about. I think that in the last year we've developed a lot of, versatile enough tools where you have like a lot of different aspects that you can approach somebody. Maybe somebody who likes the lectures, you can copy and paste some lectures from the Venus Project YouTube channel. If not, maybe a TVP magazine. There's an array of stuff, and we're going to post it later on. So I would like to just touch up on what Shawn said. A lot of the times, especially in the beginning, we have problems with maybe sharing all this information because we don't really feel secure yet, or we're not sure how it's going to look to others and whatnot. So I would propose that you try and maybe get some similar information from somebody who is maybe already established in the scientific community or something, so that it's not directly the Venus Project, but it is what the Venus Project proposes, or it's education in that direction. So you have, if you go to our webpage, you have recommended books and videos, and there's a whole bunch of authors that that are out there. There are scientific people acclaimed, have books out and whatnot, so you can find links to their talks and to their lectures and to their interviews, and you can post that. So that's an alternative.
Yeah, well, it's actually a very, not only an alternative, but maybe a necessity to, there's so many concepts that are contained in the Venus Project and the resource-based economy, and to collect relevant references that correspond with the topic. Say it's human behavior, and not only is Jacques talking about this subject, but maybe Robert Sapolsky is talking about this subject, or another subject. So you're actually assisting in pulling together a lot of different information towards the same idea. That way you're not just merely parroting, the Venus Project. You're actually doing some research, and you're assisting in the overall education of others.
Yeah, exactly. And we have, I guess we talked about it. We have so much stuff is out there that, it's just books, lectures, whatever you want, and it's all free. All information on the Venus Project webpage, for the most part, is free. The only thing that we have is the book, The Best That Money Can Buy, and the lecture set from Jacques, which is basically what Jacques and Roxanne are living on. So everything else out there is free. So there's no reason why somebody would not be able to learn these ideas. All right. Well, I would like to go into one specific, which is Facebook. There's Facebook has, of course, its pros and cons. It's a huge time sink. If you're not careful, you can waste a lot of time on it just scrolling up and down, which is what I was doing a couple of years back, and I try hard not to do anymore. But it is very useful in the sense that you can really share these ideas widely. Of course, we have other social media as well. We have Google community, we have Twitter, we have just about everything else. Which again, we're gonna post the link in the description. But Facebook itself is pretty widely used, and we have a social media team that's working pretty hard. Basically, we're coming up on 100,000 likes shortly. So there's one specific that we can all do, and we've tried doing this with the points of contact too, and we manage sometimes, and then we kind of forget a little and do it again. But it's basically like this. You can go to the Venus Project Global, and you can check out. You can like all the things that were pasted that day. So you can do that. That's a couple of seconds.
It's Facebook. It's www.facebook.com/The Venus Project Global. I'll put the link.
Yeah, we're going to put the link on. So what you can do is I try and daily find the post that got the most likes and shares. And then if you go and click on the shares, you can actually see who shared this particular post. And some of these people that have open profiles, you can like their post, so you can like what they shared. And this is very important, because a lot of the people that share these posts have no likes or one like, and if we can up the count on that likes, we're gonna up the count on the whole reach of the page. So this is the idea, and there's a couple of good outcomes of this. Basically, one is the fact that it's going to be wider shared, and the other is that the reach is going to be bigger. And then also what it's going to do is that person that shares, if he's going to get 3 or 4 likes, that's going to make him more apt to share something again, as opposed to not getting any. And also what it's going to do is his friends are going to see that post coming up more often, because it's going to have more likes. So there's more chance of somebody commenting on it and getting some feedback and whatnot. So this is a nice tool that you can do. It doesn't take a lot of time. You can take a couple of minutes, and that's about it. And there's another plus side that happens is people get to add you to their friends, which is again good, that you're kind of having a wider base of people that see your shares. So that's kind of the idea.
Gotcha. So summary: use Facebook, visit the Venus Project Global on Facebook, and go through the content. They post, they do a very good job. They're posting every 3 hours something new, and they're even posting more often than that. So they're doing a lot of work on TVP Global. So anybody watching, please support that.
Yeah, exactly.
Going there and clicking like or share.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that has focus. So basically, so that you don't just scroll and see if there is something, but you have a focus. So you can actually take 5 minutes and do that every day, and it's gonna take basically a lot less time than you just going to Facebook and scroll.
Yeah. Don't get distracted by Farmville, if that's still an app.
Yeah, that too.
Don't do Farmville. Do click like, I guess.
Yeah, like and share. Yeah. So I guess that's that's something that is a very good start for everyone and anyone, basically. It doesn't really matter how old you are, what kind of social status you have, money, you don't have money. You know, vast majority of the people have internet, so I think that it shouldn't be a problem, at least for the online stuff, but for the offline as well. So we're gonna post a bunch of links, me and Shawn, for this topic where you can get all these information. Um, like I said in the beginning, we didn't really talk about the structure, about what we do in TVP activism, and we're gonna do a show about that, but it's gonna be at a later date, maybe next month. Um, so I think for now, this is what we wanted to stress. You know, again, there is very large amount of people out there that say, "What can I do? How can I help?"
Yeah.
And these are kind of the first steps toward that.
I think
Anybody that's
general knowledge of the tools we have is also good. Like we mentioned, the Venus Project Global on Facebook. Um, is it called the Venus Project Global on Google Plus also? I have to check.
no, it's TVP profile, but I'm not sure if it's I'm not sure if it's I think it's not TVP Global.
I mean, we have the Facebook, we have Google Plus, we have two major YouTube channels. The one is the Venus Project Media, and that is the main channel for the Venus Project. It's run by Joel, who lives at the Venus Project right now, and they post some of Jock's old lectures, the classic lecture series. They post relevant information. Paradise or Oblivion is there also. And then the channel that I currently run, which is TVP Education, and that should be in this channel that you're watching right now, or click the name underneath this video to go to the channel, and you'll see all the seminars. There are weekly seminars on all kinds of different topics. We've even had Jock and Roxanne on for the majority of them. The audio seminars from a year and a half, 2 years ago are also there. The POC Q&A sessions, which Saso does with others, are also there in sequence. And there's even tutorials which will describe other tools we use, which include Skype. I have a Skype tutorial down there, so you can go through that. TeamSpeak, which is a voice over IP, is another tool we use to communicate. There's a tutorial down there for that. And this Google Hangout that we're doing, I have a tutorial which I think I need to update because they've changed a few things and they need to do a better job on that. But anyway, all the information is on youtube.com/TVP Education, and you'll get even walkthrough tutorials of how to use some of our tools. And then the biggest tool of all is the main website, www.thevenusproject.com, and all of this information we're talking about exists there also. And if you want specific information, go to the Get Involved, create yourself a profile, and attempt to join one of the teams and one of the projects also.
Yeah, exactly. That's you have a lot of stuff there that you can explore and try and see. So for the people, maybe in closing, I guess for all the people that have more time and would actually like to dedicate more time to this, there's also a couple of things that you can do, and there's also admin@tvpactivism.com, where you can contact me and a couple of other admins, and we can talk about directly how to join groups or teams or even TVP activism as it is. So that's something that we're going to talk about in the next show, but just so that you have some feeling for those that are really passionate and have some time to dedicate to it. We need people like that. So
how is you're talking about the POCs around the world, and that is localized. I can't say representation, but they're points of contact. They're people to be contacted and be a liaison between their local community and the Venus Project. And after they get set up, after they go through your orientation, they get a specific email, and they have direct communication with the Venus Project Global. And what else? What do you guys? Can you describe anything what you guys do with your orientation?
Yeah. Well, in short, basically, we want to have a quick hangout like this with with the people that that apply or send us emails, so that we can, you know, quickly assess their level of knowledge and whatnot, and then we try and add them to the community of points of contact or points of contact that are in orientation. So basically, the candidates for the points of contact. This is kind of still in the works. We're still trying to update and improve the whole process. So I would like to talk about more in depth for the next show. But you know, you can definitely get more education. You can get more of a community feeling as far as what people are doing, and we have discussions on Hangouts like this weekly, where you can participate and get to know the people and talk about these ideas and problems and things like that. So that's for everybody that want to get involved a bit more seriously.
So if you want to get an official project team of the Venus Project, email admin@thevenusproject.com. Or go to the website, get involved, official project teams, and submit your application and or CV or resume. If you want to get involved with the POC activism, or the TVP activism, sorry, and become a POC, or check out if there is actually already a team around you and join that team, then your email
exactly is at admin@tvpactivism.
Admin@tvpactivism.com. And I'll put these links here and in the thing below. And what is another option somebody wants to? Oh, if you're not sure if you want to do either of those, the general recommendation is obviously education, and that's perusing and going over the entirety of the website, www.thevenusproject.com. Then my first recommendation would be reading the book if you can get your hands on it, The Best That Money Can't Buy. Watching Paradise or Oblivion, which is free and available on YouTube. At the Venus Project Media, or you can Google it and find it. And then things like Future by Design is a great film to watch. And Looking Forward is a pretty decent book that describes like this future resource-based economy. And then the recommended reading list, going through the FAQ on the website. That is, I believe it's under the About section. And there's a 108, I think it's actually more than that by now. Frequently asked questions and detailed answers to each one of the questions. So doing all that first and then formulating your questions for the Venus Project will really help us out, because we've created all these automated tools, so on an individual basis we are not answering the same question 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times. So you create these automated tools so they can hopefully take care of the basics, and then when a person formulates a question after they've done that work, it's usually, you know, maybe a higher level question or a more detailed question or critique of the Venus Project that we can address more efficiently.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Definitely stand behind that.
Do we have anything else?
No, I think that's it for the show. We went through everything that we had, so
I'll put a lot of information in the description below this video, and people should be able to find their way there.
Yeah. Exactly. And I guess this is it till next time. Take care.
All right. Thanks, man. I'll see you.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. My name is Filip Ivanov, and I'm a global administrator at the Venus Project. Here, I would like to provide you with more information on the new organizational structure, which is designed to tackle most weaknesses and threats, in addition to realizing some great opportunities. On the agenda today, firstly, I'll talk about the approaches towards different individuals, then the roles and activities for our supporters and volunteers, some key platforms that can be utilized, supporting documentation as guidelines, and finally, I will finish with the processes, and I'll talk about the standard model of introduction to the Venus Project. Let's look at the approaches. In order to cover a larger pool of audience, we can create more opportunities for both non-professionals and professionals to participate and contribute depending on their willingness, abilities, time, and resources. On one hand, non-professionals will be able to learn about the aims and proposals of the Venus Project, test their own projects by implementing them locally, and inform the Venus project about their successes through the online community. The requirements are simply to be able to have the necessary level of English, TVP knowledge, and experience in a particular field. On the other hand, professionals will be able to learn about the aims and proposals of the Venus project, apply to develop an official TVP project via the online application forms, or create a comprehensive educational course based on the principles proposed by the Venus project. Of course, the requirements are higher since we're looking to produce professional materials. A professional level of English, a thorough knowledge of TVP, and extensive experience in a particular field are required for a professional outcome to be achieved. To be more precise, I'll explain the different roles and activities. Supporters are those who support and advocate the direction of the Venus project and its proposals. Through the online community, supporters are organized into local and regional groups whose aim is to promote and introduce the solutions presented by the Venus project to people all over the world. An ever-growing list of specific activities designed for supporters will be provided on the new website in the Supporters section under Get Involved. Points of contact are supporters who are listed as the designated point of contact for a specific city, county, state, country, or continent. They are responsible for answering all emails that arrive at the country-specific email address and organize local activities with supporters in their area. Points of contact are also encouraged to submit periodic updates about their successful projects. Volunteers are supporters who work as unpaid volunteers on specific projects within the various departments of the Venus project. The level of involvement in a project depends on the volunteer's level of knowledge and understanding of the principles proposed by the Venus project, in addition to experience and expertise in a specific professional field. Mentors are supporters whose main focus is on educating themselves to the highest level on the aims and proposals of the Venus project, with the goal of using this achieved level of understanding to help educate others locally, regionally, and globally to the same standards through online lectures, seminars, study groups, and more. Achieving the level of mentor will require extensive study of the Venus project and its proposals, as well as all relevant areas relating to human and ecological well-being. To sum it up, supporters advocate the direction of the Venus project through their local and regional groups. Points of contact are there to welcome newcomers and introduce them to the concepts proposed by the Venus project. Volunteers work on specific projects within the official departments, and mentors work on creating detailed educational courses to support education about a resource-based economy. A full-functioning professional database platform is on its way, but in the meantime we can use many available solutions for specific functions. The two main platforms that can be used effectively are the online community and Google Drive. The online community has fields for people to fill in their detailed profile information, configure different privacy settings, connect with friends, and create groups where they can hold discussions and post bulletins. With Google Drive, one can easily create documents, spreadsheets, presentations, forms, drawings, and folders, with additional features being added all the time. The sharing is easy with permissions for viewing, commenting, and editing of the documents mentioned above. At the moment, each Google Drive comes with up to 5 GB of free internet storage, which is also something that we can utilize. Google Drive is supported by your browser, so it doesn't matter what kind of operating system you're on, Windows, Linux, or Mac. Additional communication platforms such as TeamSpeak, Google Hangouts, Skype, and popular social networks can also be used in order for the flow of information between the different roles to be dynamic and constant. One of the very useful functionalities of the new website is that it creates a pin on the global map for every registered person. People can see the location of others in their area which are also interested in this direction, and they can communicate with one another. Everything presented so far is on a rather abstract level. There would also be the need for guidelines and instructions in terms of documentation. Since we want to make this organizational architecture quite easy for anyone to understand, let us focus on 3 basic documents. Guidelines on how to formulate and submit projects for assessment and approval, guidelines for project management describing key steps for a successful project, and guidelines for developing a comprehensive educational course. All documentation will undergo constant improvements as deemed necessary. Let's look at some examples of the processes that people can go through in order to achieve a certain objective. Here I'll be talking about the processes for supporters and volunteers. I would like to ask you to pause this and the next slide and to take a closer look at the diagrams, as there would be no need for me to explain the process vocally. Should you have difficulties visualizing the small text, you can download this presentation via the link below in the description of this video. The standard model is a 5-step guide for introduction to the Venus project and a resource-based economy. The table is divided in 2 sections, essential information and additional information. This table aims to provide a plan or a schedule via which one can go through the information in a systematic manner, therefore trying to avoid chaotic learning about the Venus project and their aims and proposals. I would like to ask you to pause this slide as well, so you can examine each of the stages in more detail. Should you have difficulties visualizing the small text, you can download this presentation via the link below in the description of this video. With this, I would like to conclude my presentation and thank you very much for your time.
My name is Shawn Hodgins, and I've been working with the Venus project for about just over 3 years now. I'm here to answer some questions for you, and I will go ahead and get started. Alright, the first one is, what do you mean by a cybernetic society? And this one is actually in our FAQ. It's number 73 on www.thevenusproject.com, and you would look up for FAQ, frequently asked questions. And I'll go ahead and quote it. It says, what is a cybernetic society? Through environmental feedback, computers can arrive at more appropriate decisions in the operation of our social system. Today, automated systems can launch and guide the flight path of spaceships to distant planets. In a cybernetic society with sophisticated technology, we will ultimately surpass the need for human participation in government, manufacturing, and distribution of goods and services. Through cybernetic systems, a balanced load economy can easily be maintained. So basically this means that computers, in almost every case, can do a better and more efficient job than a human. And why not have this? Well, one of the reasons we don't have this today is basically we still need to maintain purchasing power for humans. Well, actually there's 2 reasons. To maintain purchasing power for humans, if a human doesn't have any purchasing power, that basically means they have no money because they have no job, because their job was replaced by automated system. If they have no money, they cannot buy anything. They can't buy food, they can't buy products. And if a company replaces all their workers with robots, they no longer are paying their workers. Their workers have no money, and the workers cannot buy products from that company. And you put that on a big schema of a country or the world, and that has very detrimental effects. So in fact, companies today purposely do not automate in some cases just to maintain employment. So by this definition, we're basically halting our own innovation, our own progression as humans. Our own technology is being halted just due to the fact that we need to pay humans to then buy those products. And what the Venus Project talks about is the eradication of money. It is unnecessary. There is not enough money on Earth to maintain maintain 7 billion people, but there are more than enough resources. So that's one of the aspects of it, getting rid of money altogether. It is not a direct reflection of relevance of resources on Earth. and it actually skews the balance of everything on Earth. So this is one of the definitions of, well, the definition of cybernetic society. To use systems that are more efficient, not biased, and basically better overall measurements of the global systems to make everything more efficient, which gives us a much higher possibility to feed, house, clothe, and educate 7 billion people on Earth, and that number is growing. So we must be at maximum efficiency as we can. All right, next question. Where will robotic systems be used? And I'll go on to the next one. And on what degree will the robotic systems replace humans? Well, the answer to this one I have is basically robotic systems will be used where we want them to be used. In most cases, I would project that we would want them to be used in any case where a human does not want to be doing that laborious task. And a laborious task is anything as far as street sweeping, cleaning out the sewers, doing advanced calculations, doing any calculations at all. Any laborious task that a human does not want to do so that it can free them to do other things. We most likely can replace that with some sort of computer, some sort of robot, or some sort of cybernetic system. So where will they be used? As many places as we can use them, while remaining as efficient as possible, and while any place that we would want to be replace them as. Even today, robots are replacing some surgeons, and then that technology is advancing to do surgeries. So even the most advanced things that you think humans must be the only people that are only thing that would be able to accomplish this task, robots, programs, and Cybernation are actually able to replace them in many different areas. There's restaurants in Japan and in Germany that are 100% automated, not one human in the entire restaurant, and is a full-service sit-down restaurant. So even in places where you might not think a robot can replace a human, it can be done. It's just a matter of putting some time and effort into it. So where will they be used? Almost anywhere we would want them to be used, to be simple about it. And on what degree will robotic systems replace humans? Same answer, on the degree that we wish them to. That we want to free ourselves to do other tasks. So it's not something to worry about. It actually is creating more freedom for us to do the things that we would actually like to do. And in most cases, if not all cases, the robots will do it more efficiently, without bias, and with less use of resources.